They say the best stories begin with a twist of faith, and mine is no exception. My entry into the tax field was a complete accident, an unexpected detour prompted by a friend's gentle nudge that changed the course of my life. This story is one of God's blessings that has allowed me to share my voice to a large audience. It all started at the crossroads. I just finished working for the federal government as a traveling interpreter, moving from city to city, helping people communicate across borders and languages. It was a fulfilling role, but I was ready for change, something rooted, something that would allow me to grow professionally and personally. That's when a friend stepped in and said, "You need to get into a career, something with real potential." She mentioned there was a well known accountant in town who had made a great name for herself and suggested I should consider making my own mark in the field. With little more than curiosity and my friend's encouragement, I found myself at an employment center. I was referred to a company, let's call it the Green Company, where they would certify me before working for them. I dove in wholeheartedly. I attended their program and graduated in the top of my class, scoring an impressive 98%. I was motivated, determined, and more than ready to begin. But there was something standing between me and my new career. I was 8 months pregnant. As you can imagine, the hiring managers were reluctant to take a chance on someone so close to their due date. I watched as my classmates were offered positions while my phone remained silent. It's hard to describe how discouraging that felt. The sense of being overlooked for lack of skill, but because of circumstance. Then, in a twist worthy to any good story, I received a call from a district manager that I later learned was helping my district manager. She seen my scores, noted my bilingual ability, and believed I was the perfect fit for her team. I was overjoyed to finally have an offer letter to work out of the Hillcrest office, only to find out later that I had been sent that letter by mistake. You see, this manager knew my pregnancy and saw no reason to hire someone who'd soon be on leave. So they emailed me and said the first letter was emailed by mistake. Then another offer letter came in, this time for the downtown San Diego location. By the time of the kickoff meeting rolled around in the first week of January, I was just 3 weeks away from my due date. I approached my new manager and asked if I could take 10 days to recover after the birth, then return to work on February 3rd. He agreed, showing a rare and much needed vote of confidence. I came back ready to work, more determined than ever. My drive intensified once I learned my manager was an enrolled agent. Inspired, I made it my goal to become an EA myself. I poured my energy into the season. By the end, I was named MVP, finishing with some of the highest revenue and client count. It was triumph that felt almost surreal. A new tax preparer, slightly disabled, brand new to the game, but fiercely determined to learn and succeed. Yet, beneath the surface, discrimination lingered. Now, I am not saying they full-blown discriminated me, but I am also not saying that they didn't. This is my story to tell, and they can keep the details to themselves. Side note, the Green Company, for reasons I'll never fully understand, hired leadership managers from places like Sears and Blockbuster. People whose tactics were outdated and whose ideas seemed stuck in the past. I mean, where are these companies today? Back to my story. When I was awarded the MVP plaque, it wasn't at a ceremony, but handed to me at the workplace, almost as an afterthought. I don't remember if I was invited to an awards event or if there wasn't one due to budget. Either way, The gesture spoke volume, and I will leave it there. Despite the obstacles, I pushed forward. Over the summer, I enrolled in the local EA bootcamp seminar. The tuition was a stretch. I remember asking the school if it was okay to post-date a check, just to afford it. And they said yes. Don't worry, Karla. Please take a seat. I will never forget that. The EA exam is notoriously tough with 3 parts. I took them out of order. Part 3 I took first. Passed on the first try. Part 1 I took on the second time. Passed on the second attempt. And part 2 I took it last. It took me 4 attempts, but I passed it on New Year's Eve. That day, my family and I celebrated at the car show held at the San Diego Convention Center. When I look back at the photos, I see pride shining in my eyes. I'd done something most tax professionals never managed, passing all parts of the EA exam within 2 years. I felt so accomplished, and I knew it was on the right path to a new career. Eager to share my achievement, I emailed the new district manager, thinking he'd be thrilled to have a freshly certified EA representing the downtown office. I imagined congratulations and encouragement. Instead, he didn't reply for days. Finally, responding with a phone call with first words saying he'd been busy with more important issues. He told me that the EA license wasn't enough, that I had to prove I could do the work of an enrolled agent. I partially and awkwardly agreed and responded I would get started. A week later, he hosted a welcome back meeting for the team. Just getting there was a challenge. I struggled to secure childcare and spent 15 minutes searching for parking, arriving 7 minutes late. When I walked in, he asked me to leave and I refused, explaining my circumstances. There was 1 seat left, all the way across the room and closest to him. So I took it. He reviewed the season's expectations, praised other preparers for their certifications, but not once mentioned mine. From being a level 3 tax preparer to enrolled agent. I mean, hello? Towards the end, he asked everyone to introduce themselves and state their certification level and goals for the tax season. He started by pointing to the girl next to me and said, "Let's start with you." I sat quietly, questioning what I was doing there and at the same time confused and humiliated. After the meeting had concluded, he called me over to sign paperwork and again told me that passing the EA exam to him meant that I was a good test taker, that it didn't necessarily mean I was a good practitioner. He insisted that I needed to prove myself by learning to prepare returns for corporations, trust, and partnerships, and build my own book of business. And get this, bring it back to the business, to the green company, by smoothly mentioning another preparer earning $50 an hour. The top earner in the region had done that. I bit my tongue, signed the papers, and asked to be excused. My blood felt like it was boiling. I felt my jaw stiff, and all I could think of was carefully walking out of the office to avoid an accident because I was wearing heels and a skirt. Once outside, I began telling myself that a bigger picture existed, encouraging myself to learn and soak up as much as possible, this time around with a different set of eyes, that I had learned the way and become the change of what I didn't agree from this company. By the time I got into the car, I knew what I needed to do as part of my exit plan. I want to clarify something. This story may seem negative, but that is not the message I want to send. I was aware of everything going on, and I chose to walk into that door in time. Everything that was done for me and not to me. A week later, when this district manager visited my office, I asked to speak to him directly. I told him he didn't deserve me, and what he did deserve was that I leave immediately. However, I had decided to part ways after April 15th. I explained to him that my mom taught me better than to get up and leave abruptly. She raised me to always accept responsibility and to always determine when it is necessary to pull away because it is a small world. I promised to work with grace, professionalism, and I asked only one thing of him. When he visited, not to check in on me or just come when I'm not there. I promised that once I would leave, he would never have to deal with me again. And that's exactly what happened. By September that same year, I opened my own office. Office number 540, located on 333 H Street, and Bridge Tax Resolution was born. 333, I love that. If you know, you know. Looking back at the journey into the tax field was anything but conventional. I was marked by unexpected turns, challenges, and moments of doubt. But through resilience, hard work, faith in God, who defined my path and took me to a place where He carefully carved out a space exclusively for me, a space where I can help others navigate their own financial triumphs. What began as an accidental career became a calling. And that, I believe, is the greatest twist of all. And to the Green Company, you cannot interfere with the divine. This was written for and by the Most High. 1M, I'm tasked with the mission, but 2M's, it's double the mission, double the message, and double the audience. And this right here is the full throttle that has just been activated today. My name is Karla, the Tax Whisperer. I'll catch you on my next one. Bye.